It's Mo Egger. When football season overlaps with college basketball season, there's no better place to watch all the games than Long Neck Sports Grill. 3 locations in northern Kentucky, Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood. Each one of them has 4K TVs all over the place. And, of course, the sound is always on for the big games. Plus, the menu at Long Neck's is awesome. You've got to try the wings. And, of course, no place has a better beer selection. There's a ton of games happening right now. Grab your buddies and get to Long Neck's. Stay late. Come often.
We've done this on a weekly basis. We're going to do it twice this week. We did it Wednesday. We're doing it today because we typically talk football injuries, and we will continue to do that. But there's some significant college basketball injuries and the Tejay Antone news as well. So I wanted to bring in Dr. Angel Velazquez from OrthoCincy's. We love OrthoCincy's. They've got specialists and locations all across the tri-state. They offer walk-in orthopedic urgent care weekdays from 9 to 9 and Saturdays from 9 to 1. Learn more at OrthoCincy.com. That's OrthoCincy.com. Dr. Angel Velazquez is with us. I wanted to talk about some college basketball injuries first. Rob Phinisee, torn patella, suffered against Tulane the other night. His season is over. When you are examining a player or anybody who has suffered a potential knee injury in real time, give me an idea of what you're looking for when you determine whether it's something pretty significant that could require a procedure or maybe something a little bit more benign.
Well, Mo, thank you for having me today. First, definitely when you have a knee injury, it is important to see the mechanism of injury. What exactly happened. If it was an injury that was with contact or without contact, it was an injury that happened when the person planted the foot, trying to jump, when landed, the knee hyperextended, was the knee bended, kneeling on the ground, was any twisting injury. So that's the number one thing is, understanding the mechanism of the injury and understand that probably the first initial evaluation will be the best evaluation because there's no muscle spasm, there's no immediate swelling of the knee. So first thing is understanding mechanism of injury, looking exactly what happened, and then you have a pretty good idea of what is going on. And obviously a good physical exam that, swelling on the knee, that something happening to the joint could be, a bone bruise, a fracture, a meniscus tear, ligament injury.
Let's talk about Viktor Lahkin. Suffered an ankle injury. The hope is here that it's just something that he rolled, and hopefully he's back in the court sooner rather than later. When an athlete, or really anybody, suffers some sort of ankle injury, give me an idea of what some of the immediate treatments are.
Well, you look at the injury and you say, okay, the injury happened. Where's the swelling? Where's the pain? You need to get the swelling down, number one. You need to, to see if there's any significant laxity or instability of that ankle. See how many of those ligaments has involvement. But importantly, getting the swelling down, controlling the pain, and then after that, getting a good strengthening program to build the ankle to bring it back. You are seeing on different sports. You're seeing it now, on the Super Bowl. Everybody talking about Mahomes and the injury. So you're going to look and see which ligaments are involved. And depending on the ligaments that are involved is the severity of the injury too. It's not the same having a lateral ankle sprain than having a high ankle sprain. And the reason is this, the high ankle sprain is coming from a ligament that is holding, the 2 bones of the lower leg. So every time you step on it, you're going to have pressure, and that pressure separates that joint between those 2 bones, causing pain into the high ankle sprain ligament. If you get a lateral ankle sprain, the weight may not be the main problem, could be the side-to-side movement. So obviously, high ankle sprain will hurt more with weight than the lateral ankle sprain. So that gives you a better idea of what we're leading with.
Dr. Angel Velazquez with us from OrthoCincy's. Let's talk about one more college basketball player, Zach Freemantle. He is out with a left foot injury. It's the same foot that he had surgery on about a year and a half ago. He had a stress reaction. The team is optimistic that he's going to be back on the floor before the season is over. Give me an idea of some of the more common foot injuries that occur in athletes.
The injuries are always used. You divide them into acute injuries or overuse injury, right? So looks like the previous injury that he had that required surgery was more like a, probably an overuse injury. And I don't know the details of the surgery was performed, right? But an overuse injury could be a bone bruise, right, or a stress reaction that can turn into a stress fracture that sometimes, depend the bone, require, some type of intervention to get that bone close to each other to heal. Now the fact that he has a stress reaction, is telling us that it's a bone bruise, okay? Hasn't turned into a stress fracture, by the definition of a reaction or a bruise. And, hopefully with time of resting, taking pressure off, he's able to be back to go to basketball-related activities relatively soon. A fracture take around 4 to 6 weeks to heal, plus, the strengthening aspect and the return to play for conditioning. A stress reaction take a little bit less, but can be linger, right? And then we have to look why he's developing those stress reaction or those stress fracture, right? You need to look and see, there's any, vitamin D deficiencies that we see on so many patients right now, at least on my practice. Be sure how's the gait, any force put on one side of the foot compared with the other, or even some weakness on the leg that we need to retrain so there's not that much stress. So there's a lot of things that go into looking at why it's causing this problem if it's overused. And if it's acute, it's just like an injury, right? So that'll be more like a fracture standpoint, a tendon tear, stuff like that. But for a stress reaction, looking more importantly of where's the stress reaction, what factors are predisposing this patient to develop them, that being vitamin deficiencies or even just gait or weakness on his legs.
Let's talk about Tejay Antone of the Cincinnati Reds, a guy who missed all of last year, had his second Tommy John surgery in August of 2021. There was a ton of optimism that he was going to be able to pitch on opening day or be available on opening day. I talked with TJ about that around December. Now the news comes out that he's probably not going to even be ready to go for the first half of the season with a setback. He's got a flexor strain in his right forearm. What likely caused this?
Well, number one, we need to understand that, Tommy John surgery is a surgery repairing the ulnar collateral ligament, and about 90% successful rate or higher. So that means that, if you look at 90%, it's, 9 of every 10 will go back to full activities with, the level activities or the condition that he had prior to the injury, right? But it's still the 10% who has injury. So when you have a second Tommy John, if you look at different studies, around 33%, you got less chance to go back to the level that you were before. That doesn't mean that you're not, and I'm going to give you some example. Enison Volquez, Nathan Ovaldi, Jamison Taylor, those are guys that are come back, and being able to play, so on a high level. So what caused that? Sometimes it's bad luck, right? Sometimes it's some type of pitches that he throws. Sometimes could be some conditioning. Obviously, before these guys are allowed to go back to throw, they are tested for everything. They are tested for strengthening. They are tested for flexibility. So they trying to correct the things that, that you can look that can be causing the problem. And having a second Tommy John is different, right? It's different. That ligament has been replaced twice. But you have to, a lot of times, those flexor mass injury, are overused, are trying to, quick it to go back, or, there's some specific patients that are putting so much stress. It's hard to tell you what exactly it is. But when you have the flexor mass there, we need to give it a chance to this to heal. That's why, I hear that he received some PRP injections. What that does increase, the healing process or property of his body in that specific tendon. We're trying to cut down around 25% of the length of the injury, but you need to give it time. You need to do a strengthening program, and we need to go from that.
Awesome insight, as always. Lots to talk about. I appreciate the time. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mo.
Terrific stuff, Dr. Angel Velazquez. Have a great weekend. There you go. I say this all the time. Great thing about the people at OrthoCincy, they've got specialists and locations all across the tri-state. They've got walk-in orthopedic urgent care weekdays from 9 to 9 and Saturdays from 9 until 1 in Edgewood and Eastgate. Most definitely easier, certainly cheaper than going to an ER when you've got an urgent orthopedic injury. Go to OrthoCincy.com. That's OrthoCincy.com. Hey,
it's Mo Egger. If you love sports, man, this is a great time of year. You've got college football, the NFL, and of course, college basketball. And there's no place to watch all the games than Long Neck Sports Grill. 3 locations in northern Kentucky, Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood. They've got 4K TVs all over the place with the sound on for all the big games. Plus, the menu is fantastic. You've got to try the wings, and no place has a better beer selection. Long Neck Sports Grill. Stay late. Come often.